I'd like to thank the new president of SPEEA, Ryan. Thank you very much. And I'd also like to thank Ray Goforth. Ray, and the staff at SPEEA. I was on the staff at SPEEA for about 10 years or so, and it's a great staff. And I think under Ray's guidance, I think they're doing terrific and amazing work within the labor community. Certainly getting national recognition for the stuff that's going on. But let me just talk about a few of the things that I'm seeing out there in the world and my engagements back within SPEEA. So I listen quite a bit. I'm an organizer at heart, and I always will be. I'm the director of organizing, along with being the secretary-treasurer at IFPTE. And in doing that, I find it necessary to get out of Washington, D.C. As a matter of fact, I haven't been really in Washington, D.C. for about the last month. But what I find most important on a yearly basis is getting back to the membership and grounding myself in the issues of the people who are affected on a regular basis, whether they're in New Jersey and they're toll takers on the Turnpike or whether they're workers in Wichita. And I'd just like to relay a story that went on in Wichita, where I took a week from my work in Washington, D.C. and other places around the country to spend some time in Wichita with our Wichita members. And this is where we were talking about the discrimination against employees who have physical disabilities, physical ailments, and who have been terminated from Spirit Aerosystems. It's a stunning and a shocking story, and it could happen to anybody, frankly, at any time, the way corporate America appears to be treating workers today. So we always ask ourselves, right, I heard it here, this is kind of a thankless job being a council rep. I was a council rep for many years. I understand it. So we always ask ourselves, well, why do we do what we do? What motivates us to go and do this? And let me relay the story from Wichita, and you'll be able to see why I do what I do. So we were going, and I was riding with Rhonda Greer. She's here tonight. There's Rhonda in the back. We were riding together. Rhonda, by the way, I was engaged at the time, and I hadn't gotten married yet, but I thought I was married after we got pulled over by the police, and Rhonda gave me what for my driving experience. So anyway, so why do we do what we do? And I'm going to relay a story of one of the individuals that we met, and it's only one of them, but they were very open and forthright with talking to us about what was wrong with them. And the one person that struck me more than any was a guy named Jeff. We went into their home, and he came down the stairs. And frankly, he was about 35 years old, and he looked like he was in pretty good physical shape. And when he got down, he sat on a chair next to the desk. And as I was talking to him, I explained why we were there. And that we thought some of these employees who have been terminated from Spirit Aerosystems were terminated as a result of the expense of their medical expenses or medical expenses of members of their family. He sat there and looked at me, and he kind of shook his head up and down. And then he reached in the desk drawer and he pulled out an X-ray. And on this X-ray, it showed a metal attachment screwed into the back of his neck. And Jeff suffered from some kind of rapidly moving arthritis that required surgery over time, and eventually it would make him, he would become disabled eventually. But he wasn't disabled at this point. So he'd been out of the workplace getting some other medical treatment done to his hip. And when he returned to the workplace, he returned with seeking an accommodation from his. Now we have to remember, Jeff worked in an office job. He sat at a desk. He didn't lift and he didn't push. The accommodation that was simply notification from the doctor was that he was not to be lifting any objects and he was not to be pushing any carts. No part of his job consisted of that. His manager took the accommodation, went back to human resources. He continued on about his job throughout the day, and after lunch, human resources showed up at his desk, said they wouldn't be able to meet his accommodation and sent him home. Jeff was later laid off. His medical insurance had ran out, and he was stuck in a situation where his family could potentially lose everything they had. He was using a cream that he would rub on his joints. That was it would kill the pain inside the joint. So he had cut down the amount of that he was purchasing. Those are the people that we're here to help. This is what motivates me to go out every day and do what I do. But I think it's necessary for all of us to make that connection, to the people that we represent, to talk to our members, to talk to them in a heartfelt way, talk to them in their homes, talk to them in the workplace, find out what's going on in their lives, and it makes each day a little easier for us to do what we do. And all of that being said, I mean, it's always necessary, I think, in this, is to celebrate. We always have to celebrate what victories we have along the way. And today I'm celebrating the fact that I have now been married for exactly 6 months. And so that's...
Have you been home yet?
No, I haven't been home for about a month, so, but I haven't gotten the boot yet either, so that's a good thing. Yeah, so my wife is she's a psychologist, and sometimes she is really wondering what the heck I'm doing or thinking about, and I think she's rather entertained by some of the things that I do or that we all do, and that's always good. So if you do the math and go back 6 months, that was December 7th. That was kind of an iconic day. So I celebrate it all the time, every month I get, since December 7th, really, you know, the date that will live in infamy, I guess, is one way of putting it. But anyway, that's my celebration for today. But I had two other issues I wanted to talk about. And one of them in particular, I noticed Rich Plunkett isn't here today, and I'm glad he isn't. But I'm glad he isn't for different reasons. I'm glad he isn't because I'm going to talk about what a great job Rich has done. And in particular with regards to this $50 million settlement. Now, this was a battle. This was a battle early on. It was a battle inside SPEEA to keep this thing going. And it was a battle, certainly, with the employer. And boy, I'll tell you, I have a line that I always use. It's do it till you're spanked. Well, Rich was doing it until he was beat. And he kept doing it, and he did it until this victory came about. And I think you're very lucky to have a Rich Plunkett on your staff. So now let's talk a little bit about that, what that victory really was. So it's $50 million. This is the union difference. These workers didn't get anything that they hadn't earned. They got what they would have gotten if they'd have stayed in the union. That is the union difference. So when you ask or are asked, or even ask in your own mind, what is SPEEA doing for me? Average payout, $97,000. Some people got $400,000, some people got $800. Now, these are significant payouts. But remember, it's the union difference. That's what they were owed. That's what they would have gotten if they were in a union. That's the hard work that you do each and every day. That's to your credit. Now, one of the other things I just wanted to brush on here, probably I'll close up after this. I don't want to get between you and the good weather that's out there. So what's going on? What's going on at Boeing? Right? This is this is Ray's sociopath behavior that he's spoken about. There's no doubt about it. So anyway, let's talk about this company just a little bit, just some factual stuff that's that we know. So how much money? Well, what are they doing with their money? This is a very profitable company. $10 billion for stock buyback program. Quarter after quarter increases in the dividend payment to the shareholders. And from what I understand, and from what I've seen, they want to take away from the workers.
They've taken.
So what? Yeah, they've taken. And when we take a look at it, so what in that environment? What's going on? I mean, let's be real. Let's be real. We go into negotiations. We talk. We get into this big discussion. Right? This goes on for months. So we talk about market-based wages. We talk about benefits. We talk about pensions. But what does all that mean? Where does all that come from? Well, what we all know is that we have a company. The company produces a product. It costs money to produce the product. You have to buy the raw materials. You have to have the lights turned on. You have to buy real estate. You have to have buildings. You have to have research and development. And all those are costs. All those are bills. After all the bills are paid, now you have the profit. That's what we are here to discuss, the profit. Whether you wanted, market-based is one thing, but when we want to talk about the profit, because what they've decided is $10 billion in a stock buyback program for the shareholders, reduce the amount of stock that's on the market, increase the stock price value. Quarter after quarter increases to the quarterly dividend go straight into the pockets of the shareholders, the actual owners of the company. So they have made a determination that that profit at the top, after all the bills are paid, that they're going to take the vast majority of that and give that to the shareholders, the owners of the company. And they're going to pack their own pockets at senior level management too. For the workers, they've decided that you would like not to get more. They're going to take from you. We've certainly seen that. I think we need to be prepared for the next round of negotiations. It's going to be an iconic moment. And I think we have time to get prepared for that. So we need to be ready for it. But it's simply, in those simple of terms, after all the bills are paid, the profit is there. And we only want our fair share of that profit. Boeing's not a company that can't afford to pay. They're a company that's not willing to pay. They're not willing to pay. And we can make that a difference for the people that we represent. We've proven it in all of the different areas that we've been, whether it's at SPEEA, Aerosystems, Triumph, whether it's at the Boeing company, whether it's even out in Ogden, Utah. We've proven that we can make a difference in all of these areas. And it's the strength through unity that makes that happen. Anyway, I'd like to thank everybody for their hospitality once again. It's always good for me to come back into town. And it's certainly been a pleasure to be here this time. Thank you very much.